The Kayfabe Crunch is supported by MeFit, the all-in-one mobile fitness tracker from Mitosis. Simply download the MeFit app from our Dropbox and begin entering your height, weight, and social security number. Track daily, weekly, and monthly goals across 7012 easy-to-read graphs. MeFit. Healthy living made simple-ish.
The Kayfabe Crunch, Fall, and News.
Good news! You're listening to issue 50 of the Kayfabe Crunch, and we'll be celebrating this landmark milestone by giving you an entirely regular episode. That's right, because the news waits for no man. The news doesn't care about anniversaries. Wrestling news keeps going, it never ever ends. There was even just another show last night. Make it stop. I'm Nathan Neckbreaker. And, help me. Coming up, we have all the fallout from Backlash. But first, on this day in grappling history, in 1984, Sergeant Slaughter faced the Iron Sheik in a boot camp match. Now, this bout was officially labeled as a proxy war by the Reagan administration. A lot of people take issue with that fact, but it was either one professional wrestler or countless American lives. And happy birthday to the Ultimate Warrior who would have turned... What was that? He was a massive homophobe. Oh, well, f*** him then. And now, let's get to the Ultimate-Unsanctioned news. Top story, one more punt to the head. Or so he thought. Randy Orton opened Raw by bragging about his victory over Edge. Having put one legend to rest, Orton suggested he may return to his former profession of legend killing, as he feels a fresh fire reigniting in his gut. Could just be indigestion, that's the first thing I'd assume. Christian then interrupted the Viper's slander, arriving on the scene to defend his oldest friend. However, Orton didn't see a man, no. He saw an opportunity. An opportunity to satisfy his lust for legends. Orton made Christian the offer of one more match, which Christian refused due to his medical history. But Orton then sprinkled a little pepper on the situation by making the suggestion it could be unsanctioned. Because we all know from recent history that unsanctioned matches are less of a risk to your physical health than a standard bell-to-bell. We all remember the safe Omega Moxley match and that extremely safe Gargano-Ciampa match. Christian spent his night asking legends for advice, whereas Orton spent the evening trying to confirm that Christian is in fact a legend. Just like a vegan who's trying to ensure their food is plant-based before tucking in. Ultimately, Christian decided to defend Edge's honor by facing Orton in an unsanctioned main event. However, Ric Flair interrupted. He tried to stop Christian, but instead delivered a low blow to Captain Charisma, leaving him vulnerable to a vicious punt kick. 1, 2, 3, Christian's return is over. Now, why Orton stood by and allowed this to happen is quite frankly beyond me. Sure, he and Flair are old stable buddies, in that they used to muck out stables together in the summertime, but Flair is also a juicier legend than Christian. Sorry, Christian, but you get it. If this desire to murder legends has arisen in Orton once more, then why not go for the bigger catch? Until we see evidence that proves otherwise, it appears this isn't about legend killing at all. You see, Edge and Christian have something in common. They're both Canadian. A hate crime is defined as a crime, typically one involving violence, that is motivated by prejudice on the basis of religion, sexual orientation, or race. Is Canadian a race? Let's go with it. Admit it, Randy. This isn't about legends. You just hate Canada. And now it's time for your fast count. The in-ring camera angles of news.
Rollins tries to recruit Dominic Mysterio for his, checks notes, gang of handsome young boys. As a precautionary measure, Humberto Carrillo, Mansoor, and Angel Garza have been taken into protective custody.
Key merger takes place to form the Viking Profits. Street Raiders was also considered for the team's branding, but was considered too real for the current socio-political climate.
Bobby Lashley and Lana to divorce. And by passing the 5-month mark, they managed to increase the average time of celebrity marriages.
The Big Show returns to help fight off an army of ninjas. Really? However, he didn't manage to get his hands on the big ninja. And that happened.
Bayley accepts a challenge from the Iconics for next Monday, meaning 3 title defenses in 8 days for the dominant duo. So when Cody talks about cutting a schedule like no other, he falls short of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions.
R-Truth holds on to his 24/7 championship by escaping an army of ninjas. Okay, I actually missed Raw this week. If someone's playing a trick in the auto queue, I won't be happy.
MVP offers his services to Apollo Crews. Sources say Crews immediately called his wife to make sure everything was okay.
Ninjas? Okay. It's obviously a joke. You're playing on me, so I'm out. And that's your fast count.
You've been counted out. These stripes still mean something.
On Sunday night, we witnessed what was billed as the greatest wrestling match ever. But was it really? Joining me now via wires and is wrestling journalist and amateur skydiver Chris Litmus. Chris, was this the greatest wrestling match ever?
Well, it's too soon to say, really.
It's your job to say, Chris. The people need to know. They're counting on your expert analysis, so give them something.
Okay. We can say with certainty that it was the best match at Backlash.
And
if we extrapolate from that data, we can make the argument it was the best match of last week.
Go on.
Well, if we look at the calendar, I'm holding one up right now for the listeners to see, we could make the case it was the best match in the month of June so far.
Right. I'm still not hearing a time frame anywhere near to ever.
The thing is, Nathan, look, wrestling is subjective, right? Some people prefer knockdown, drag-out brawls, others prefer technical masterpieces. So it's impossible to describe a match as the best ever. There are too many variables.
So you're calling Vince McMahon a liar?
Yes. Well, no. He had a match to promote, so it's understandable why...
Chris, our listeners need answers. When fans don't know where they stand on a wrestling-based issue, they look to commentators and journalists like you and I to provide them with a viewpoint. We live in stressful times, Chris. You of all people should understand that, what with the divorce and all.
Oh, we're actually giving it another go. Yeah,
I don't care, Chris. My point is the public doesn't have time for pithy, time-consuming acts such as forming an opinion on a wrestling match. So, when I ask you, a respected wrestling journalist, was Edge versus Randy Orton the greatest wrestling match ever, you say...
Yes.
What was that, Chris? Speak up.
Yes. Edge versus Randy Orton was the greatest wrestling match ever.
Okay. Chris?
What?
Go away. There's just time for a quick look at the headlines from traditional wrestling media. Keep printing, guys. You truly are the backbone of our industry. Dave Smelter at the Grappling Ogler gives the Backlash main event 9.5 stars. Medium-sized Dave goes on to say it was great, but not the best due to a lack of Tokyo-based domes. Fair analysis. Broadsheet. Sect Addicts have published a list of the 18 best moments from Backlash 2020. But by our calculations, there were only 18 moments in total that happened during the show. So, that's all of them then. And Ryan Duvet of Pro Wrestling Duvet is outraged by the Asuka and Nia Jax double countout. He goes on to say, and I quote, "Asuka clearly made it back into the ring before the 10 count. Her feet were fast enough, nearly as fast as my feet. I have the best feet in wrestling journalism. No one can touch my feet, open brackets, unless you want to, close brackets. Please buy my feet pics. I have furiously fast feet, and you can't stop my foot-based magic." Okay. Join us Saturday when we'll find out just why Adam Cole is terrified of hourglasses. What a coward. It's just sand. And remember, you can support this podcast by following us on Twitter at Kayfabe Crunch. But also, please, can you stop tagging us in posts that explain why wrestling isn't real? We're not interested in your conspiracy theories. Thank you very much. This has been the Kayfabe Crunch. 50 episodes, what are we doing? You're not quite daily, not quite news, bump for the world of professional wrestling.
The Kayfabe Crunch is supported by Me Fit. Track your caloric intake with our easy-to-use mobile app. We categorize your calories into bad, really bad, and what the hell were you thinking eating a chocolate cake at 2 a.m.? MeFit even discourages the consumption of excess calories by emitting low-level radiation from your phone when you're close to your limit.
The Kayfabe Crunch.